Let's talk about the perfume company Scentual Obsessions. So I was really curious about this perfume company called Scentual Obsessions. It's run by a gentleman by the name of Kevin Holt, and he is out of the US. One of the challenges that we face, especially if you're not a US based like myself, from Canada, and it's some companies actually won't ship to Canada. But I was pleasantly surprised when he said, yeah, for sure, we do ship to Canada. And he has a wide range of fragrances in regards to just anything from designer to niche. So I ordered a couple of fragrances from him just to see the quality, what it was like, presentation, etc. So here are my thoughts on about 7 of his fragrances. From what I understand, he has a bronze, silver, and gold line. I believe the silver line is about to be discontinued, but either way, I found his website very user-friendly. You could find lots of different fragrances, different range of fragrances, and it's an inspiration house. And I think he also does blends as well. So I was interested in trying a couple of his fragrances, and I wanted to share with you my thoughts on his house. So the interesting thing that I would like to note is that not only does he create fragrances, but also there are body washes and I think a couple of beard oils. So it's quite a range of fragrances, of items that if you wanted to layer it, you would be able to do so. Fragrance pack that they have is, I think you can get 6 fragrances. So I purchased that, and he added, out of his generosity, another fragrance. And so I'll tell you what my thoughts are on all of his fragrances. Now this is in no particular order. This is much more on an informational front, so that if you are interested in getting any of these fragrances or even checking out this house, here are some of my thoughts on them. So let me show you what it comes in so you have an idea. So it comes in this box, and inside when you open it, there's also a drawstring bag that has all the fragrances in it. For the sake of time, I've taken it out, and here are all the fragrances. So the first fragrance is one of my favorite fragrances that I enjoy wearing in the fall and winter seasons. It works extremely well on my skin. I actually have the original, which is by Kilian's Straight to Heaven. So if you know this fragrance, you know that it has rum, cedar. It's this very bold creation from By Kilian, and by far there are many from By Kilian, but this is my favorite one from By Kilian. This is Scentual Obsessions' take on By Kilian's Straight to Heaven. So this is, I would say this is a very good, this is an excellent inspiration of Straight to Heaven. You smell the cedar in the opening, you smell the rum, and one of the things that I failed to mention at the beginning is the oil concentration from bronze, silver, and gold. It increases depending on the higher the range that you get. So the gold collection will have a higher concentration of oil than the bronze collection. I believe most of these that I got because I wanted these fragrances, they are from the bronze collection. But regardless, even though this is from the bronze collection, this is definitely a fragrance that is no slouch. So all of these fragrances, their performance in terms of longevity and projection, I would say is quite moderate to very good. So anywhere from 5 to 7 hours depending on the fragrance. So this is Straight to Heaven. Excellent interpretation in terms of the rum, in terms of the cedar. I appreciate everything in this fragrance that Kevin has made, or Scentual Obsessions, because it really does give you that it's very hard to tell the difference between the original and this inspiration. If you are looking for a more inexpensive purchase, I would say definitely give a chance to Straight to Heaven by Scentual Obsessions. So the second fragrance that I purchased from them is my favorite from the Tom Ford line. If you know me, I've mentioned in other fragrance videos of mine that although I do enjoy Tuscan leather and tobacco vanille, but my favorite fragrance from the Tom Ford line is this fragrance right here. Which is Verdan. And this is, for me, my favorite from the Tom Ford line. Unfortunately, it is now discontinued. This is a fragrance that has green notes in the opening and incense, and it's a fragrance which, for me, I get a lot of the woods and the incense, and it's quite green in the opening. But people, when they smell this, it is very different from anything out there. Not only in the Tom Ford line, but in perfumery in general, because it's just this excellent combination of incense and greenery. People who have smelled this on me said that it smells like it has gourmand qualities. I don't get any gourmand qualities from it, but either way, this is a great fragrance. The thing is with this fragrance is that A, it's discontinued, but also B, most of the houses or inspiration houses will be doing, you know, Tuscan leather, Tom Ford oud wood, tobacco vanille, oud minéral. They'll do a bunch of other fragrances, but they won't do Verdan. So I was very happy when I found an inspiration to Verdan, so that I don't have to use up my fragrance, but also just in regards to the scent. So this is Verdan. They're all the same, you know, and the thing that's interesting about the Scentual Obsessions is that, okay, so they have the name on it, but they also have the date that it was compounded, which is very nice. It's a nice touch. These are, I think, 3 mils or so. But okay, in regards to the fragrance itself, it's an excellent interpretation of Verdan. It has very good transition. You know, one of the things that I find with inspiration houses is that you know, they may capture the initial top notes of a fragrance, but then throughout the life of the fragrance, the mid notes and the bottom notes, the base notes, it runs out of steam, or it runs out of fuel. So, but in regards to Verdan by Scentual Obsessions, this is an amazing interpretation, and I'm so happy that this fragrance exists in that catalog, because it's definitely something that I'm going to invest into getting a bigger bottle of. So the third fragrance on my list, and you might see like there's a theme of you know, Christmas scents, because Verdan is like a very Christmassy scent. But this fragrance, I've been looking for a replacement for this fragrance for such a long time. Not because it's a bad fragrance, but because this fragrance doesn't last as long as I want it to, especially within the winter months. And that fragrance is Burberry's London. So Burberry London, you know, everyone says that this is Christmas in a bottle. Very much so, because it has like that port wine, the tobacco in it. It's very comforting, it's very warm. It's definitely a fragrance that I love wearing during the winter months, and especially within the festive season. The thing with Burberry London is that you have to spray like 8 or 9 times. You got to spray it on your clothes, because just on my skin it just doesn't last. So when I found that Scentual Obsessions does an inspiration, I was very, very excited. So this is Burberry London. Okay, so The issue that I have with this fragrance from Scentual Obsessions, now I don't know that maybe it was Tom Ford's London that they sent me, or maybe it was Burberry London for women, but this doesn't smell anything like Burberry London men. This smells like, it has some green notes in it, smells a little bit aquatic, and a bit of spices. I don't know if you've tried Burberry Scentual Obsessions Burberry London. Let me know in the comments below what if you got the same fragrance that from the original, because this doesn't smell anything like this. I'm thinking that maybe it's a mistake that I got sent the Tom Ford London, which I haven't smelled in ages, so I don't remember what that's like. And I haven't smelled the women's Burberry London in forever either. So, but this one unfortunately was a miss for me. But if you have tried Burberry London, please let me know in the comments below if it is similar to, maybe it was just a mistake, an oversight on someone's part. But let me know in the comments if you've tried it and if it does smell like the original Burberry London. So the next fragrance, I don't have the original, but I have smelt it before. This is from Dolce & Gabbana's exclusive line, and it is called Velvet Exotic Leather. So Velvet Exotic Leather is really this, it's a really nice refined leather. I have smelled this before in store. It was just out of my budget, and I have several leather fragrances. This smells like a very luxurious leather glove or leather shoes or a purse with a little bit of spices in the background. It is a very pleasant scent. It smells like money. So if this I can see someone wearing this for an exclusive event or for a gala or a night out. It does smell very like someone who's got their stuff together, right? So someone who has the right car, the right attitude, the right outfit. This does smell like money, and this is something that is very, very nice. It's very pleasant. It's not an abrasive leather. It's not a leather that's in your face. It's not like a barnyard leather. It is very much a wearable leather, and it's definitely something that I would wear a couple times more to figure out whether or not I want a full bottle of this or not. Okay, so those of you that know me know that I really enjoy the Dior house, and I said if I had to be forced to have only one house in my collection, it would definitely be Dior, because my relationship with Dior starts many years ago, probably in the 90s, with this very fragrance, and that fragrance is this fragrance right here, which is Dior's Fahrenheit. And Dior's Fahrenheit is this, very classic petroleum violet. You know somebody who's worn this fragrance if you haven't worn it yourself. It might be your uncle, your father, your girlfriend's, or your wife's father, or someone's worn this fragrance, and it's a true test of time that Fahrenheit has lasted this long. It was released in 1988. I have hunted down to try to find there are different various batches or releases, if you want, of Fahrenheit. For those of you that are curious, I would say there's the 2018 batch which was released. I think this is an excellent interpretation of Fahrenheit. This is Scentual Obsessions Fahrenheit. The good thing about, the other good thing about Scentual Obsessions is that this is a company that, they don't make up their own names and stuff, so you don't really have to guess. You know exactly what you see is what you get. So this, this is a great interpretation of Fahrenheit in regards to You get that petroleum note, you get that violet. It's very pleasant. If you like, obviously, if you enjoy Fahrenheit, because it is a challenging fragrance. If you do enjoy Fahrenheit, I would say, you definitely owe it to yourself to check out Scentual Obsessions take on Fahrenheit. It has that violet leaf. It's not, and it has that really good balance between the petroleum and that violet. Some people get offended by this because this is definitely not a blue fragrance. This is a fragrance which will make you stand out in a room. But it's also very familiar fragrance because so many people have worn this fragrance. But I would say, if you are short on a budget and you don't want to get the original Dior Fahrenheit, this is an excellent alternative to Dior's Fahrenheit. So at the beginning of this video, I told you that I ordered 6, but Kevin was out of his kindness, sent me 1 extra sample. The extra sample that he sent me was of King of Kings. And this is an excellent take on the Holy Grail batch. I think it's the Z01 batch of Aventus. I forgot my bottle downstairs, but I have a 2011 batch of Aventus, and those of you that have been in the fragrance game for a long time, the original Jeremy from Fragrance Bros, he did a split of an E01 batch way back in the day. Must have been like 6-7 years now, and it has, and I'm the type of person that likes the fruitier batches more than the smokier batches. So I like the pineapple, the apple, the brightness of those outweighing the birch and the woods of Aventus. There are, without exaggeration, there are probably hundreds of Aventus clones out there. I think if you are in the market for a I would say a classic Aventus fruity batch, this is definitely the way to go. I have Rassasi Zebra, I have Perfume Vintage Intense. All of those, by and large, they really smell good and they smell like Aventus. This is definitely for a fruitier batch. If someone came to me and said, okay, can you tell me what is a fruitier batch that you would recommend in terms of longevity, in terms of projection, in terms of scent profile that it used to smell like, I would say, from all the fragrance houses and inspirations that I've tried, this pound to pound, dollar for dollar, King of Kings is definitely the way to go. So this is without, not just because he sent this to me for out of his kindness, but I genuinely want to say this is an excellent inspiration of the fruitier batches. If you like the birch and you like the smokier batches, this is probably not the one to get for Aventus. But if you like the fruitier batches in terms of longevity and in terms of projection, without question, try King of Kings, and let me know in the comments if you have tried King of Kings and what you think about it. But I reckon, in my experience, this is definitely one of the better inspirations of fruitier batches of Aventus. Okay, which brings us to our last fragrance from this house, and that is Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud. So this is a very classy fragrance. As opposed to tobacco in other notes, I would say this is a very in-your-face, abrasive, you can smell me before you see me type of tobacco. This is a fragrance which will have presence in a room, which will fill up a room. It has, I would say, a good balance, a little bit more so towards the oud than the tobacco in this fragrance. I've smelled the old tobacco oud from Tom Ford. Yeah, this is, it's pleasant. I can see someone wearing this fragrance initially, like, you're out of the shower and you're going to go to your event 2 hours later. So you're gonna wear this fragrance right now so that when you actually get to your event, you're in the mid notes or in the heart notes at that point in time. Because the opening is taking no prisoners here. This is a fragrance which is really hardcore. I don't know if I would get this fragrance. I still prefer Verdan over this, but over as a fragrance on its own, in its own position, I would say this is a fragrance which is very pleasant. I can see there's a market for it out there in terms of people who might enjoy this fragrance. So that's it for Tobacco Oud. I think Tobacco Oud is an excellent fragrance. Try it out if you are looking for a bold, abrasive fragrance. This might be something which you might fancy. So my final thoughts on this house, I would say, you know, when you're looking at inspiration houses, you're looking at quality of a fragrance, you're looking at price, and maybe in the future, if you think it's a good idea for me to make, I had this idea of making why inspiration houses have a place within the fragrance industry. Let me know in the comments below. If you're enjoying this content, a sub would be incredible. It helps this channel grow. But overall, what I want to say about Scentual Obsessions is I think they've done an excellent job in terms of their scents. I think they've done extremely well in terms of their packaging. You know, we're really here for the fragrance, and they haven't cut any corners. Their website is user-friendly. Their creations are very good, and I would say very close in proximity to the scent profile of the original fragrances. There's nothing bad to say about this house. This is a house which I think overall I anticipate will do very well because they are very price competitive with other inspiration houses. Generally, I'm gonna be looking into maybe buying full bottles of the Verdan, of King of Kings, of perhaps Fahrenheit. So overall, I would say and also there's a wide range of fragrances in their catalog. So definitely it is worth your time in terms of checking out. I'll leave it in the comments below. I'll leave it in the description below the website. And also the good thing is, like I mentioned at the beginning, is that they're not just US exclusive. They ship, I believe, worldwide. I know for a fact that they ship to Canada. So keep an eye out. And if you enjoyed this content, a sub, like I said, would be incredible. And I'll catch you on the next one.